We've been hearing from you a lot about NGO activities. I'd like to ask you now about yourself. You went to school at the Asian Institute of Technology. How did you first get interested in civil society, in working with NGOs?
First I was graduated from Agricultural University, and I was assigned by the Cambodian government to work at the called Rai research stations. During the time, automatically the student who finished school or university had a job automatically. So when I was working with the government, I like to read more, and during that time the news seemed to be restricted. And my father, working for the council minister, he had a special news where only high-ranking government officer could read that news. So I used to read that news, but it seemed like they don't like me to know more. And I don't want to go to detail, the process of controlling system during that time. And I say why I could not read. For human being have the right to read, have the right to speak, a freedom to speak, a freedom to to say. So then at the end of 1991, the Cambodian government had signed called a Paris Peace Agreement, where the Cambodia also signed a convention of the human rights, political and civil rights, and economic, social and cultural rights during the time, so provide Cambodia to have more freedom to set up associations and NGO, to work independently. So during the time I decided to join the group to found called a Cambodian Human Rights Development Association, which is the first human rights group. So that's called Ath4. Many people know that group. So that my willing is to join the human rights because I believe that the rights of the people need to be protected. So that's why I was the first of the human rights founding member of establishing the first human rights group under the, I could say, difficult situation. Okay, during the time we are lacking of resources and security, so we set up our office in Pagoda because we believe that Pagoda is a safe place for our office to be established. And we have an office in Phnom Penh, and we have also established an office in the provinces. But one of the provinces has been surrounded by the tanks, but we still, during the time, the trust between the government and NGO is completely no trust. So then I mentioned in my interview earlier that the trust has been built. So it was really a lot of things I learned. I've been involved in a long process of democracy since the beginning of the Cambodia open to democracy system. I think during the times I could learn, I could see a lot of media and press has been coming out with a very challenging, and a lot of insecurity happens, but I'm not want to mention it in detail. So that is my involvement. And then aside from that, first involved with the human rights activists, and then I went to study in Thailand, Asian Institute of Technologies, and I come back to work for called the NGO Forum on Cambodia as the convener of the working group on ADB, Asian Development, during the times, because I feel like very important the development has taken place rapidly during the times. So a lot of donors, a lot of investment are coming into Cambodia without considerable development consideration to effects and impact of the affected communities, and there are a lot of evidence that the forced eviction and a lot of things has been displaced. A lot of people has been displaced. So then I joined NGO Forum, and then I leave NGO Forum again to work for development organization called Chhith, International Cooperation for Development in Cambodia, for almost 3 years. And then I decided to come back to NGO Forum because I see that NGO Forum is a really good place for me to play a lot of role to help a lot of Cambodian people in the challenge situations. So I feel like I could do more than I work for the development organization. So that's why I decided to come back to the advocacy organization, which is, I believe and hope that is going to have a lot of challenges, and it have prepared a very good strategy to respond to the issue that we are working on with careful.
This is very interesting. You are an advocate of non-government activities, and yet your father was a government official, right? Did you often have discussions about the differences that you two had?
Not really much discussed, because he is going to be his own, I'm going to be my own. Even reflect in the current context, you know, in one family, you know, the father belong, not my father's, the father belong to CPP, and the wife belong to opposition party. So during that time, it seemed to be like that for me also.
So it's diversity.
Diversity of opinion and decision for different. Even within the family, it doesn't mean that it should be the same.
Well, I think that's a good picture of what Cambodia is and will be in the future. And do you think that if you have children or your children, what will they be? Would you allow them to be anything that they want to be?
I'm saying it depends on their decision, but the decision has to be based on current developments, current trend of the development, where globally, you know, going straight to democracy and more participation and governance and transparency. So I'm happy when they move to the right direction rather than to the wrong direction of development trends or paradigms.
Let me put it this way. When your children grow up, do you think there'll be the democracy that you're fighting for today?
Definitely, I think it's going to be in that way. But it needs to take time until he become mature.
Mr. Chhith, I think that time is up. I would like to thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Yeah, I also would like to thank you again for your giving me opportunity to be sharing my thought on Cambodia context. Thank you very much.